I mean, good morning, Malik, and good morning,
Wow.
Enimwa. Hey, Raymond Akwa, but you too, I'll miss you like that, doesn't mean come and visit me this morning. Good morning, Raymond, wherever you are. So shy, Jesus. How you guys doing?
We have never been happier to see a Friday like we are to see this Friday.
Okay.
Because we are looking forward. When I woke up this morning, I was like, oh God, I can't wait till it's tomorrow morning. And I don't have to wake up early. So I'm really looking forward to the weekend. We have Joy at the mall tomorrow.
There's
So
Joy
pretty
at the mall
exciting
tomorrow.
stuff. We'll be at the Junction
And on
Mall.
Sunday.
Yes, and on Sunday as well. I'll be there. You'll be there.
I'll be there.
Malik will be there.
Yes,
Malik, say it well.
And
I will be there.
of course, most of the
I'm
team will
always
be there. So, pass by, say hi to us, and let's have some fun tomorrow. Bring the kids along, and there'll be a lot of activities for the children as well.
And you can also win so many prizes there, and there'll be great discounts as well. So it's
And
a
you
good
may
time to
meet your
shop at the
future
mall.
spouse.
Yes, you may meet your future. Yeah. Let's do the front pages now.
Let's start with the Gold Street business. Bank of Ghana to do FX forward market sales ahead of festive season. African Customs Administrations to be interconnected electronically to promote effective trade facilitation in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Lower inflation target under consideration. Those are the stories on the front page of the Gold Street business.
The Finder is reporting tomorrow's NPP parliamentary primaries in orphan constituencies, 100 slots up for grabs. Dr. Baumia directs public institutions to purchase all toilet rolls from local manufacturers. Some men threaten wives with divorce over family planning, and Cocoa Board receives international cocoa inspection accreditation.
The Chronicle newspaper, coup plotters meant serious business. Ghanaians should stop trivializing it on social media. That's government warning. Ekufuado governance impact Chifu Human Lower Dejra in perspective. Masturbation, oral sex, very dangerous, says an expert. Anymore, that's for you to explain to us what that means. You are.
That's maybe something that they could teach. That's maybe something that they could teach during comprehensive sexuality education.
Absolutely, given that that's
Yeah.
what we are discussing this morning.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
and
but
then
Moses Fuamini will be joining us. We'll also have officials of the PPAG in that discussion. Do you guys think that 5-year-olds should be taught CSE?
Absolutely not.
Malik.
I'm conservative.
But don't you think that at least we should take the time to know what exactly is going to be taught before
Exactly.
we make up
I
our
think
minds?
that's what's important. I think the struggle here is that one of the most difficult things dealing with your children is acknowledging that they're losing their innocence every day. And the funny thing is that, Malik, it's not so much of what you talk to them at home, but when they go to school, their friends are talking about other things. So, for example, a few months ago, my daughter came home and tried to talk to me about abortion. I've never spoken about it to her here.
How old is she?
She's 10. Her father has never, but she went to school and a friend of hers had discovered that there was something called abortion and it was a big conversation. And, the girls had huddled and they were having this conversation. So I think that we have to be realistic and open our eyes to the fact that there's an information influx, and it's important that we create safe spaces in the home so that our children can actually come and talk to us about it.
So is it
But-
immoral to teach comprehensive sexuality education, or we are not being realistic?
I think it's finding the balance
Have you
between
guys
the
started
two.
a conversation?
No, we haven't.
No.
We are on the
But
front
But it's a
page
question for the
of
listeners. So let me just give the text lines now. 0244 340437. WhatsApp and Telegram asks, is it immoral to teach comprehensive sexuality education to 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds, or we are being unrealistic?
The content is what is important. As for the headline of comprehensive sexuality education,
Yeah, we'll bring you the
doesn't really
content.
say
We'll
much.
present the content today on the show.
Okay, the new weekend crusading guide. NPP goes to polls tomorrow to elect parliamentary candidates for orphan constituencies. Sorry, anymore. Acquire all fertilizers locally. Government directs cocoa. There's a lot of local acquisition this morning. So we're acquiring toilet rolls locally. We're acquiring fertilizers locally. I like the sound of that. Adopt innovative financing models to close infrastructure gap. Alan Tremanting tells world leaders.
and the acquisition of toilet rolls is also on the front page of the Ghanaian Observer newspaper. Other stories: bloggers hail Ekufuado's achievements, corruption in Ghana, attitude. Now that's Osafuma for senior minister saying. Pension scheme for cocoa farmers in the offing, that's according to Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and fight against unemployment. Why to export job seekers?
And on the front page of the weekend today, new judge for GN savings case adjourned to October 16th. Ningo Prampram roots for Nana's boy, and that's it really for the
Let me slip in a quick update on the accident I was talking about earlier. They were suspected dead, but we have learned that they are just seriously injured. They are not dead. They are seriously injured. So we can now heave a sigh of relief, but we are still asking that please, when you're driving on the motorway, please be careful.
The Daily Guide newspaper, Daniel Kaswa, cop killers freed, El Kojodia cage. Government frowns on quack security experts. Quack. Interesting. We are with you. Buhari assures Ghanaians. Ghana. Otufo's chief killer remanded. Court throws out $139 million Dubai case.
Okay, on the front page of the Daily Statesman, Ghana tourism on the rise, all set for NPP orphan primaries. Owners of failed banks in trouble. Prosecutions begin October after the legal vacation.
The Herald newspaper, 16 years after Gbevulolate coup fiasco, Kwekwe Bako and NPP government cook another false story. Confusion rocks PDS partnership. Meralco wants to pull out, citing political uncertainty. Another ambassador cries over Ghana's corruption menace as Osafo Mafu blames Yoko. We know that the Australian ambassador has raised concerns about this particular story, he was not exactly properly, correctly quoted.
Okay, on the back page of the Ghanaian Times, 97,277 Ghana cedis disbursed to 65 more PWDs in Ho West districts as persons living with disabilities train cocoa farmers to manage their farming business professionally. That's according to Professor Day. And on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, big boost for youth employment as government launches 4 new initiatives. Information Ministry to hold 5th Town Meeting Hall in Bolga. Family planning is not a preserve of couples, and police deploy 2,000 personnel for NPP primaries.
Daily Graphic newspaper front page story. Small Arms Commission to assign codes to firearms. High Court dismisses Bank of Ghana's application against UniCredit. Waiting to die. 180 on death row. No executions since 1993. Back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Tamale Airport expansion project. Government hands over site to constructor.
Anyone, let's start by taking us through the 4 new initiatives.
Yes, sir. So the Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, will next week launch 4 new initiatives by the YEA. And this is what they are. So there's the Job Center, the Artisan Directory, the Agric-based flagship program, and the Work Abroad program. Now, the Job Center is going to serve as a platform that will link potential job seekers with their employers directly. He's been speaking, and well, the Deputy Minister of Information, is the one who has been speaking, and he says that there are a small number of SMEs which, because of their size and capacity, cannot advertise their job openings, and so if they list on the directory, then that matchup can be made, as it were. He also talked about the Artisan Directory, which would train the youth in the artisanal sector to sharpen their skills in the services they offered. So that's a center for training. And then also there's a Agric-based program, and that, he says, is an initiative which will be taken in all the 16 regions. And what it's going to do is to teach really on natural resource endowment and focus on the comparative advantage of each region and district. And finally, and perhaps the one that might be the most exciting for a lot of people, is the Work Abroad program. So what we're going to be doing is exporting parts of our human capital to other countries so that we're reducing unemployment, but also so that we're bringing in some foreign exchange for the country.
Anyway, the Deputy Minister you are talking about, Pius Enam Hajide,
Yeah.
also at the same forum that he spoke, which is the basis of the story that you just reviewed, expressed concern about the trivialization of the statements that were issued by the Information Ministry by his boss, Kojo Ponkuma, our colleague, a former colleague and friend, talking about some persons who had intention to destabilize the state and to target the president, and the steps that they had been taking to acquire some ammunitions and weapons, and plans that they had engaged in test firing of those arms, and meetings that they had been held, attempts they were making to recruit other people. Now, when the information was put out by the Information Minister, there was a certain general mistrust and mockery of this. But the Deputy Information Minister Pius Enam Hajide is warning against the mockery of government's statements and government position on this, insisting that, look, in times past, and he mentioned some leaders in America that were either killed or attempts were made on their lives, and he said that the persons who made those attempts were just one individual. On each occasion, it was just one individual with one gun that made those attempts or succeeded in killing the president. Therefore, if 3 people are acting together in concert with manifest intention to commit harm, to attack the president, and to destabilize the country, there is no basis at all for anyone to make mockery of government statement of this one. You know that when we have spoken to some security chiefs, they've dismissed the story, and Adam Bona particularly said that the guns that were retrieved, the locally manufactured guns that were retrieved from these 3 persons, could not even hunt in the Dodowa forest. It doesn't look like the Deputy Information Minister is happy with some of these comments. He says people should stop trivializing the matter.
Let's step away from this issue.
Yes,
and go
indeed.
to
And tomorrow, the NPP will select its parliamentary candidates for 2020 elections in 105 constituencies where there are no sitting MPs. Some of these constituencies include Asawase, Banda in the Bono region, Amasaman, Greater Accra, Cape Coast South, Upper West Akim in the Eastern region, Krachi West in the Oti region. The list goes on. But what's important as well is that the police is deploying 2,000 personnel for NPP primaries. And the Director General of Police Operations, Commissioner of Police George Alex Mensah, has said that the police are going to be solely in charge of security at the polling stations. There will be no party security or other sister security that will be involved in ensuring law and order. He also said that no unregistered and registered motorcycles will be allowed within 100 meters of the polling stations, and only registered delegates and party officials of the party would be allowed at the census. And so that's happening tomorrow. And stay tuned to Joy and Joy TV as well, Joy News TV, and
yes,
Joy
myself,
FM.
Evans Elton, would be on TV. I'm sure it will be simulcast, and we will be making an analysis of the results as they turn out, as they are churned out later in the evening.
very important election that's happening tomorrow. But let's move to Kaswa.
Yes, so 6 of the people who were alleged to be involved in the killing of the 2 police officers, Michael Jemesi and Awal Mohammed, were freed yesterday. They were freed essentially because the Bureau of National Investigations that is investigating this matter went to court and said they were dropping the charges against these 6. And these 6 are Isaac Emisa, Ibrahim Zakaria, Isaac Mensah, Oblite Kome, Victor Yire, and then Fatah Ahmed. These people were initially charged with conspiracy to commit crime in the murder of the 2 persons I just mentioned, Sergeant Michael Jemesi and then Awal Mohammed. Now, because the BNI said that it was dropping the charges against them because there was a new development, and the new development is some other 3 persons are the persons, all 3 of them at large now. Investigators believe that they are actually the persons who aided Eric Dua in the commission of the crime. So those 6 persons have been let go. Now the 3 new persons have been charged, and all 3 of them are at large. Investigators say they are looking for them. Once they find them, they will be brought before the court for the case to be heard. But Eric, the prime suspect, is still in detention.
Right, thanks, Malik. We're still following that story very closely. Family planning now.
Yes, Daniel. So this week is Family Planning Week, and yesterday was World Contraception Day as well. So, okay, let me start with the family planning. And apparently, some men have been threatening their wives with divorce over family planning. So the Family Health Division of the Ghana Health Service is calling on Ghanaian men to give the necessary support to their wives who are interested in family planning, as inadequate male involvement is hindered. That is in the family planning, not in the that's in the lack of family planning. Sorry. So Dr. Yaya Santi, she's the head of the Family Health Division of the GHS, has said that some men threaten their wives when they don't, when they try to family plan, so when they're trying to use protection, or when they're trying to take the pill and stuff like that, because they don't believe in it. She also talked about the fact that there are a lot of persistent myths and misconceptions that prevent a lot of Ghanaians from going into family planning, and this can be changed through education and sensitization. And last week, Malik, I'm not sure if you remember, there was a story of a woman who had 7 children, and she was appealing to the public to help her to raise her children. And you remember that I got a bit upset about what's in the money.
Or
She had
twins or triplets?
she had just had triplets.
Yeah.
You know, and the backstory of that was that the man that she was with did not believe in family planning, just as a traditional belief. But then he was unable to support the family, and so there have been so many stories like that. And so that's it really for World Contraception Day and Family Planning Week. Family Planning Week, the theme this year is know your options and make your choice. The focus on the Family Planning Week for this year is on the fact that family planning is not just for married couples but also for adolescents. Now, as soon as we talk like that, obviously it gets a little bit tricky, because now we're actually talking about teaching adolescents and our children how to use contraceptions and all of that. And I mean, we don't want them to be having sex in the first place. So how do you then empower them, sort of? So it's an ongoing debate, and it looks like balance is the word.
12-year-olds should be taught how to put on condoms?
I can't.
so I have
the thoughts of my
Daniel
child.
is super excited
No,
about
but
this
the thoughts
moment.
of my child learning how to put on a condom in school, I mean, it's absolutely scary. And at the age of 12,
So I have a book here. Know It, Own It, Live It. Comprehensive Sexuality Education Manual. And in here, on page 94 and 95, there are vivid demonstrations of how to put on male and female condoms.
done by
And
members
this-
of the opposite sex. So.
Done by members of the opposite sex. And this is for age 12.
12, yeah.
JHS1.
So there'll be like what's it called? Like a model
Yeah.
of a male sexual organ, and
Yeah.
then a girl in the class is called to come and demonstrate.
I was pointing out to Malik earlier that it's ironic. Some of the words in this book are not radio friendly, but it's for 5-year-olds.
And why is it not radio friendly? Because we're concerned about what our children hear when
Exactly.
we
Yeah,
speak
what
but
they'll
we're
be
taking
listening to
exactly
when
but
they're
we're
in the
taking
car
these
going to
words
school.
into the
But when
schools.
they go to school, they are
It's a little scary.
Okay, but there are some who believe. Dan Babyface in the Psalm says, Daniel, it's not wrong to teach CSE. In fact, they should be taught how to avoid social ills and immoral behavior like masturbation, inappropriate dressing, breaking one's virginity before marriage, dating multiple sexual partners, rape, all forms of sexual harassment, dangers of same-sex marriages, etc. This should be used to train our kids on moral sexual behavior. You tell me what you think on 0244 340 437. What's up?
There are 174 men and 6 women who have been sentenced to death, either by hanging or by some other means. And all 180 of them are still in prison.
How many years has it been?
The last time any president who is required by law to sign the warrant for a person convicted and sentenced to death by a court of law to be sentenced in actual fact was in 1993. That was the last time. So since then, no president has signed the warrant for this to happen. Now, the PRO of the Ghana Prison Service, Vitalis I, is the one who is speaking to the Daily Graphic, and he says, well, he can't explain why the presidents have refrained from signing the warrants, but all these 180 people have been languishing in jail. They are all at the condemned cell in the Nsawam prison. It's the only prison that has a condemned block. All 180 of them are there, and these people are not... Sometimes they wake up in the morning, they don't know whether the warrants will be signed and whether they will be killed or not. And that has a serious effect on them psychologically and mentally. Nonetheless, they are there. Since 93, we haven't done this. And there's actually a debate as to whether the death sentence should be scrapped at all. You know that Amnesty International has been advocating for
advocating
it.
for the death
Two
sentence.
lawyers, Nana Obri-Boahen and Francis Sosu, disagree on this. Nana Obri-Boahen says that the failure of President Rawlings, President Kufuor, President Mills, President John Mahama, now President Akufo-Addo, to sign the warrants have emboldened people to engage in criminal acts, including murder, sometimes in broad daylight. He thinks that this impunity is the result of the failure of the president to sign the death warrants. Francis also disagrees with him. He thinks that there's actually no useful purpose in killing people because they have committed one crime or the other. There's evidence that shows that sometimes the people are killed, and it later emerges that they didn't.
That they were
commit the crimes
innocent.
in
Yeah,
the
there have been
first
so
place.
many of those really sad stories. But finally, moving on to sickle cell. So, a professor of pediatrics, Isaac Odame, has revealed that Ghana delivers about 15,000 babies a year with sickle cell disease. And the part that's really sad is that out of that, only 4% are screened for sickle cell disease. So, 40 children born in a day, 1,200 born every month. The other thing that's interesting, well, is that if you are screened at birth and you have sickle cell, what we need to do is get penicillin twice every day, and it's largely manageable, sort of, as it were, as opposed to when you have absolutely no idea about it. The death rate is 90% if the disease is not detected early. So this morning we're asking that when you have children, get them screened for sickle cell. The services are available at Kolebu Konfanoche, the major teaching hospitals.
But the High Court has dismissed an application filed by the Bank of Ghana asking that a case that was brought by Unicredit should be dismissed. I mean, Unicredit went to court after their license was revoked. You know that there were 23 microfinance companies, 23 savings and loans companies that had their licenses revoked by the central bank.
Yeah.
Unicredit was one of them. They went to court saying that their rights have been, natural justice rights have been abused.
Okay.
And so they want the court to rule on this matter. Now, the Bank of Ghana says that no, the High Court is the wrong forum to come to, and that the High Court has no jurisdiction, and that consistent with the Banks and Specialized Deposit Taking Act 2016, what they should do was to do arbitration and not to go to court. But the court disagreed, saying that the people are not here they are not here on the merits of the decision. They are here saying that their rights to be heard were violated.
Okay.
And therefore, the court has jurisdiction to hear the matter. So they dismissed the application brought by the Bank of Ghana.
Looks like an interesting court case about to develop. Now, the online news review coming up now is brought to you by Zenith Bank, in your best interest, and Goil Good Energy. Goil Super XP and Diesel XP are activated to enhance strong engine performance and prolong the lifespan of your vehicle. Above all, you are guaranteed extra quality with our fuel analyzer from our mobile laboratory van. There are over 360 Goil service stations nationwide. Go there, experience good energy. Buy Goil, grow Ghana. Goil, good energy. Goil, Yenara, Yedia. Now, the Zenith 14th Anniversary Health Walk is finally here. It's tomorrow, Saturday, 28th September 2019, and the venue is the Zenith Bank head office on the Independence Avenue at 6 a.m. sharp. Again, let's go light and live light at the Zenith 14th Anniversary Health Walk. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. Now, with the Enterprise Funeral Finance Plan Unlimited, you have no limits and no restrictions. You're free to choose your premiums, policy lifespan, beneficiaries, and even your benefits. No age restrictions and no lapse. Sign up for Enterprise Funeral Finance Plan Unlimited today for your own good. Enterprise, your advantage. UG Accommodation Crisis. Commonwealth Hall leadership gives management and government an ultimatum. There's an accommodation crisis at the University of Ghana. I thought with the construction of the new halls, this would not be a problem anymore. Anyway, get more details of that on myjoyonline.com. GNA.com has 100 people to face court over multiple registration, and this is according to the TEMA, Metropolitan Office of the Electoral Commission. StarFM.com has Ken Oforiatta proposed to buy Capital Bank. Atuesian had a very revealing interview with Paul Adomocho. We'll bring you a bit of that today on the show, so stay tuned for that. BBC.com, people in chains freed from Nigeria torture house. Get those details from the BBC.com. We'll be right back. This is the Super Morning Show. Stay with us.